So, if we use the example that we said before, just to kind of introduce briefly these two, mental dullness. When kind of focusing upon, statue of Buddha, first sight, but then a little bit later, you don't have that same precision of the image in your mind, and sometimes you have, sometimes you don't. There's no kind of stability of that, image in your thought, and so you are losing clarity of image as well as the intensity of the clarity. When you are losing that, and at that time, without sort of your awareness, mental dullness or mental dullness or mental dullness already kind of dominated your mind. It already entered your mind without your knowledge, and not only kind of gross level of mental dullness, but subtle mental dullness has entered or kind of occupied your mind, and so there's a lacking of we can say stability of the mind itself. There's a lacking of clarity of the mind. There's a lacking of intensity of the clarity of the mind. In simple way, we can say that now you don't have that image in your thought, in your mind. And however, it is very difficult for us to kind of identify that kind of subtleties in our mind, because especially subtle, mental laxity or mental dullness is considered as a virtuous or wholesome thought. So therefore, there's a great possibility of confusing that, state of mind with the actual concentration, actual meditation, because they're really kind of, there's a huge resemblance. They look very similar, but obviously we don't know at that point. And so if you are able to maintain clarity as well as intensity of the clarity, then you're doing fine with your meditation. But if you're losing that from your mind, then meditation is not going well. There is influence by or disturbance by mental laxity or dullness. And again, if there's no kind of stability, no clarity, no intensity of clarity, then not only there's a subtle influence of the subtle laxity, but there's a kind of domination of gross level of laxity as well. So, in other words, it means there's you are gone. There's no meditation there. Everything's gone from your mind.
Sanji Kandala Mugyundi Ganda Yirjin Koros Yirjin Shiva Serchata Marchatila Sunokyo in the Jaman Yerla Navy Nicha Sanji Kandarwa Muksagi Yerta Sanji Kandarwa Sanji Kandala Yirje Tingen and the Navy Nichala Gubagno. Then that the Shango Yuti, Shinig Bachik Soji,
So here we're saying that mainly, this would be helpful when you aimed at Buddha statue, when you do meditation. You have two aspects. The one is your subjective mind. Your mind is focusing on that object. So when there's a lack of clarity in your mind, lack of intensity of clarity, what is the one that is causing that obstacle? And that is caused by, what we call dullness or laxity. And on the other hand, objective side, the statue of the Buddha that you are trying to have in your mind, why that statue is not kind of coming up clearly in your mind. The objective obstacle is caused by the other primary obstacle, that is mental agitation. So that's the reason why we say that this mental agitation and the dullness or exactly. These are the two primary obstacles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are That's why you know they go so on.
So I'm saying that probably there's no question. We took so much time. Choice.
Gewa ta nyam de ku ru tu. Mari jama chamu ti gewa kandi sire gewa dina tingi ze mari. Mon chang shang ta gila rapa ti madu no ma tin ti she bi she. Yoguna ti wa. Jama chamu ti gewa yin ta ti giwi sem tang ko tinyam de ru tu yo. Ti tam chungde ge zoro ki pha che ru tu yo. Ma to ko magiwa do tdi na ko ti ta nyam ti yong tu ma wa. Ye da tingen ze giwa chi ta ta da gumbi lo tu so giwa wa. Ten da ko ti ta nyam te ro ro tu ke yu di ga na ni giwa re es ti no ta sung go. Ko ro she li do ta ma chi wa chi de ta giwi sem ti ta she ti chi ba re ta ha la mung nam chong yin se sa yin se 이 샤와 참모디나 따다다니 랍소마 이 심지 세차 일 서비 예제 코로 예도 파셀 부그와 서로 샤 부그와 세부르 셀 부그와 세차다 마차 일라 직디가나 나이 차지고와 식으로 요야 예제 코로나 증서 거로 일라 직비 식으로 지고와 Shikt yapo yo devi kaptera ko gomti yapo chine detu kwaro. Shikt yapo esi ti hoso ti kana shama tamu zepsere. Jesa hemalo teta gugu yor mato chetan shama tamu kono giwa ta nyam te yom shakti kana te kandi kandi se zebi yom kuyo te shira shira ngosi go maro. Takti te ko she you that was it. You were going you were the Joro. A Joro. Robert, the little tea no word. I'm out to poke a region to make the cheese.
So the question was, he was asking about how subtle laxity is considered as a positive mentality or virtuous thought. And Cambridge just quoted, quote from text. And the reason he was saying is because that subtle laxity can coexist with the virtuous thought at the same time, at the same moment. And therefore, when we look at the different kind of function, the role of that subtle laxity or dullness, although it is a negative, but it very much resembles the positive thought, the way it acts and the way it behaves. So it's very hard to kind of separate or identify. And generally, negative or non-virtuous, mental factor or thought cannot coexist with the positive thought. And when we look at the subjective mind, and during meditation, mind try to visualize on some object. Mind has the ability to kind of, to make that object clear, bring clarity of that object, and also not only clarity but intensity of the clarity. And mind has the ability to do both of those. And as soon as in your meditation, when there is disappearance of those two, at that moment, immediately there is a entry of that subtle laxity, which most of us are not so much aware of. So as long as you have clarity and the intensity of the clarity going on well, at the same time meditation is going well. But as soon as you are disappearing that from your thought, you will see kind of diminution of the meditative power as well. So which was complimenting him that it's good to ask questions, and that's how we engage more and as a Tibetan to preserve Tibetan tradition or the Buddhist tradition.
Huh?
Show down, sir.
Sai biji kam tu. That imbe da cha min do.
Page 10. Mohammed, page 40, 40, dedication.
Oh, 40.
40, dedication. Thank you so much.
Really come good, yeah.
This is too tiring, it's tired.